And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another live and exclusive episode here on YouTube. I am your host, Swishbone, for the remainder of the evening. For those of you who've never been here before, normally this is about us playing games live, blind for the first time, and giving our reactions and bad jokes in the chat box that way. But tonight, part of the series here, we're going old school, back to the PlayStation 2 era, one of the golden ages of gaming, and the best racing game, of course, Gran Turismo 4. Absolutely awesome game. For those of you who have been here before, whether you watched me grind my way to the World Championship on the last GT4 stream, maybe you watched all the Persona or the Danganronpa games or the Shin Megami Tensei, maybe you've been here for the weird streams like the Murderous Sonic the Hedgehog and those Doki Doki Literature Club, or the classic streams like Final Fantasy 4 and Forza, Final Fantasy 7 and Forza Motorsport 4, I'll get my words out eventually. A huge, colossal welcome back to you all. That includes you, Fiona, saying hello, good evening to you in the chat there, and also saying to you, Joe, good evening to you too. Now, at the end of the last stream, I did mention how we had ground our way through to the World Championship here on Gran Turismo 4, and we've unlocked the Extreme event. So we're going to try and take on the All Stars event. And I'm not going to change my car. I'm going to remain in control of the AMG Mercedes CLK GTR. I'm living dangerously. However, one of the things that became apparent on the last stream is that we didn't have the right tyres boosted, so I've now got the hard tyres here, and we also have the hards on the front and the super hards on the rear. Fingers crossed that will be enough to get us through the races without having to stop, and therefore claim some victories. Let's see how we get on. Beautiful theme music was said. Now, interestingly, it's got a Scooby Impreza as the car here, so it makes me wonder if this is meant to be JGTC things. Let's have a look. It just says the car's created for speed, but I get the feeling my car might be very overpowered, because I'm seeing in the background there what looks like one of the, I think it's the Ray Brick Anasax as well. I get the feeling the AMG Mercedes is going to be too powerful. I'm going to downgrade. I'm going to downgrade to the Jag. I'm going to drive a Jag. We're going to try the Jag. See how we get on with this. See if it's going to be good enough. It might be deceptive. These cars might not even be close to it. But the fact they look like JGTC cars, I'm going to invade in a British GT car. Worst case scenario here is we have to withdraw from the championship and restart it. Here we go. And have you all been over the weekend and all the first parts of things? I am looking a bit redder than usual today. There's a reason for that. I was in Leeds yesterday because my sister, it's definitely going to be overpowered. It's not going to work. Look at those cars. Let me go back to my Mercedes. It was a lie. It was a complete lie. I was deceived. Yep, we've withdrawn. The event's over. We'll start again. There was absolutely no way the Jag would keep up with those cars. No chance. So yes, I was in Leeds for watching my sister who completed her first ever marathon yesterday. She did phenomenally well. It was very hot, and apparently the course was pretty poor. It was very long, very high gradients, so more like fell running than a traditional marathon. So she came not as fast as she wanted, but she did really, really well, to say the least. And as I say, everyone who took part was phenomenal. I'd love to have been doing it myself, but I've unfortunately had a leg injury for quite a few months, so it's put me out. However, it feels like it's healed. Earlier on today, I did just shy of 10k myself, and I feel okay. So I'm hoping that I can pump in the miles, get training, and be on the start line myself at a marathon next year. Meanwhile, you say Liverpool was a learning experience last week, was it, Fiona? What did you get up to there in Liverpool, then? Yeah, so we're going to be a little more competitive here, hopefully. Right, this will be a good start race, so we're going to start at the back. A couple of classic cars there, the Nissan R390 GT1, the Camaro LM car, the Ford GT40, and I've just realised we're going the other way, aren't we? I forgot about that. The GT7 line doesn't work. In GT7 you go high through that corner. At least you're doing the licence test if you want to get gold. In the S licence, that is. And it's worth doing because you get all golds in the S licence on GT7, you do get a decent car. Ah, of course, you were there for Eurovision. I didn't really see much of Eurovision because I'll be honest, I really didn't like what I saw of it. The music wasn't great, and I thought the way they presented it was very, very strange. It just didn't make me feel very fun watching it, to say the least. Now we're closing on the Sauber C9 Mercedes Le Mans car, an absolute icon. I've just realised as well that I'm running this in low downforce mode from the test course, so this is going to be quite interesting. Yeah, I'll give you high speed, Ring. Not the smoothest of lines, that, but I carried a lot of speed, so that was pretty cool. Who's Loreen, Fiona? What country is that for? Obviously they're not British with a name like Loreen. Makes me think they might be a Scandinavian country, maybe Norway, possibly. What I do find is interesting is that the last time that Britain won Eurovision, we actually shouldn't have won it at all, because our entry was an American band, Katrina and the Waves. So we weren't remotely in the European continent. We should have been disqualified. And Loreen's from Sweden, right? I was close. I said Norway. I wasn't far off. It's a shame it wasn't Lisa Moskovsky who wrote the amazing Still Alive, found in Mirror's Edge. That'd have been a great song to do. Of course, I get the feeling it won't be allowed because it was released, nearly 15 years ago now. In fact, it will be 15 years ago, because that's when Mirror's Edge first came out, and that's hopefully going to be a stream later on this year. I want to look at both Mirror's Edge and its sequel/reboot Catalyst as a stream in honour of the 15th anniversary of Mirror's Edge. It's one of my all-time favourite games. We did briefly have a go at it during a games jam with me and my friend Nerdy Hound, but unfortunately, due to the way the game's coded, we suffered severe frame rate drops. We got down as low as like 2 frames per second at one point. It was embarrassing. I don't know anything about the Eurovision because again, it's just not my thing. It never has been. I've always found it. I don't know. It's always been a strange thing. My mates call it Euro trash, and they watch it every year in a attempt at it's so bad it's good. But I watched it and I'm like, everything here is just painfully average. It's not bad or good. It's just average. Oh, we're in trouble here now. When it comes to musical competitions, I prefer Love Live. Oh yeah, the anime weeb is back, people. The anime weeb is back. I'm unashamedly a weeb. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, this low downforce configuration is working surprisingly well. The only problem is obviously in the corners it's not that great, but it was never that great in the corners anyway. We saw that in the World Championship, so I might as well get some speed somewhere. Let's see a bit of representation of rock and roll, I guess. Well, again, it's more metal, but they're genres I've kind of grown tired of. They used to be my life in about 2001 to 2008, but I just had a major falling out with the scene in 2007. It's a shame because I had a lot of fun memories. I saw many amazing gigs, but the time was right for me to move on to a new genre. And that genre was idol music. There's a paradigm shift for you people. From death metal and grindcore to anime J-pop. That's when you know you've truly gone left field and weird. So the only Australian metal band I know, Joe, were the Berserker, who were famous for a song called Dissimulate. Well, they had an album called this. Yeah, basically the song on the album was a world record for having the fastest drumming single-handed. It was like 19 beats per second or something ridiculous like that. Well, we might lap somebody. We might have a chance to lap the Camaro. The heavy Chevy's going to finish a lap down. An all-star, you are not, my friend. You are not an all-star. You're not an all-star. You're not a rock star. You're nothing. You're not even a fallen star. You're not even a dead star. You ain't going supernova on me, Mr. Camaro driver. Not bad, averaging a second a lot faster than the Sauber C9, one of the legendary Group C cars. It's a bit of a strange class this, because the Sauber C9 is like in a class of its own. And if it wasn't for me throwing the world's largest turbo into this Mercedes CLK GTR, it would have absolutely stomped a mud hole in everyone. But that kind of helps me, because it lets me know who my rival's going to be in the title, I suppose. Right, we're at Fuji Speedway 80s. Ooh, the 80s layout. This will be a very fast series. But I am going to need a bit of downforce for this one, because we have a very tight downhill hairpin. So we're going to try and put the downforce at 30 there, and we'll go at 45 at the back. So we'll have a lot more downforce. The mile-long straight here will not be advantageous for high downforce. We've got some tight sweepers. This is another grid start, so we'll start in the middle. Yep. Sorry mate, I had a brake failure. Oh, and so did he as well. He slammed into the Nissan R390. Yeah, I didn't have the downforce for that. I wanted to try and go fast into the bend, but just did not have the downforce. That's okay though, we've got plenty of time. We'll get deep in the draft. Yeah, he's doing 108s, that's quite fast. Right, so it's just after 100, it's just after 100, it's just after 200 metres we need to brake. Around about 180. Oh, gone wide. That's not going to... Oh, no. Yeah, that's not going to work. That is not the fastest line. We are in serious bother here now unless I have 4 magic laps. And it's possible I could get those laps, but I'm not expecting it. But we shall see. It's okay to make a mistake, it's okay to drop the ball. Just don't drop it too many times. And speaking of dropping the ball, during the marathon yesterday there were 2 guys who did the marathon and all the way around they juggled. I don't know how they had the stamina to get around the course and juggle for 3 hours. How do you do that? Well, no, probably even longer. More like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours. How do you do that? Run around juggling 3 balls in the air. That's insane. And then just on the brakes here. And that's almost the perfect braking point. Not quite perfect, but it'll do. Yeah, these super hard tyres just aren't gripping out of the corners, but because of the sheer tyre shredding power, I need them. This is one of those compromises I've had to make with this car, which is possibly something that could be solved by messing around with the differential and everything else, but I've literally no idea what I'm doing with that, and I really don't want to make the car 10 times worse. I was thinking about me with the CLK this afternoon because you were in GT5. How are you playing that on the PlayStation 3, were you? That's pretty awesome. Oh, damn it, just run out of road. Yeah, this race is lost. There's nothing I can do. I can't catch him. I can't go quick enough. And the reason for it is because I'm making too many mistakes. That heavy crash was what really ruined it for me. But that final corner and just getting too little grip to get into the corner and blast out of it like I needed to. I really needed to be straight into that and maximum speed out, and I went off the circuit instead. It cost me so much time. So it's not a very good handling car in GT5 either. It just goes to show that some cars have all the power in the world and just don't quite have the design, which is okay. You just have to live with it, don't you? Right, now we're doing it. Now we're getting somewhere. We're not closing that gap down. We're going too slow, I think, but that's going to make a big difference. And so I think the gear ratios are too long as well. I'm not tapping out. I'm not topping out at the top of the rev range, which tells me the gear ratios are just not optimal, so I can get better acceleration. Then again, with the amount of wheel spin, that might not be a good idea. So yeah, so even in GT5 it's a bit understeery. That's, I mean, you can cure understeer if you get the celt right, but I just don't know how to maximise the celts in this game. And again, on a circuit like this with fast sweepers, understeer is a massive problem. You just find yourself like pining for a car that's just got that much better grip on turning, and this car just finds itself wanting far too much. So here we go. The good news is we are in a championship, so we don't have to like set the world afire in terms of pace. We can win it over time, but we can't afford too many mistakes. It'd be helpful if he came up on some traffic and got stuck behind it. If you got stuck behind lapping traffic, that'd be kind of useful. I don't think he's going to hit anybody. Oh, that's it. That's me screwed. I've screwed the pooch on that now. Understeered straight into the grass. Not much you can do about that. You just got to get on with it. Oh, for God's sake! I need a better car than this. I need a better high-end GT car. Or an LMP1 car of some kind that I'm not buying. Yeah, 17 seconds adrift. That's embarrassing. The good news is I somehow retain the lead. I don't know why. Is it because I got the first victory? I don't know. Have I got more fastest laps? Maybe. There must be something. That's disappointing. But this is all part of the challenge run. We're not able to just buy a really super ridiculous car and munch our way to bliss. We have to actually earn it. Oh, Mazda Laguna Seca. Right, okay. Time for a few more tweaks here. First of all, I definitely want to change my transmission. We're going to bore it back to 18. And downforce is going to maximum. This is a circuit that's not straight line dominated. So we definitely want to have a better setup. And crucially, this is a rolling start. I am not starting behind the Nissan and the Chevrolet. It ain't happening. We're qualifying. And I've got to make sure I come out ahead of them. I've got to come out ahead of those cars. I cannot be behind them. Oh, what the... Oh, I'm not in control. I'm not in control of the car. Give me control. Give me control. That was because they're bleeding. They didn't give me control of my car. You know, good evening, Mr. Jack. Welcome to the stream, mate. How are you doing? You're glad to be back following Con yesterday. Oh, that's awesome. And also, Snowbeaver, good evening to you as well, mate. How are you doing? I'm going okay, thank you very much. Getting a bit hot, but that's okay. It's the middle of summer, and I've just gone off the circuit and crashed, so that's the end of my race. Or maybe not, actually. Oh, well, it is now if he does that. That's what you get for trying to ram me off the road. Get on the sand, you pillock. You also tried hitting me off the road. I was trying to recover. I don't think so, pal. You're going to try and hit me off. I'm going to send you into the sand, matey. Into the corkscrew. One of the most terrifying corners in the world. It's hard to believe that you have a corner like that. Do you know this circuit's designed for motorcycle racing? Would you want to go down a dip like that on a motorcycle? I mean, I won't want to ride a motorcycle anyway, the death traps, but going down hills like that? Insane. Absolutely insane. All I was getting was squeal, squeal, understeer, understeer. This car is not fun to drive. It should be, but it's not. It just does not want to turn in. I was literally breaking my thumb holding left then. Wasn't making any difference. The car just wanted to go straight on. The chassis leaves quite a lot to be desired, it must be said. See what I mean? Can't get the brakes to work, can't get the turning to work. So in terms of a challenging car to drive, this is right up there. But it's okay, because we're still at the moment at the head of the snake. Question is, where are we going to qualify? That's the key part. Nowhere if we go off the circuit like that. That's going to be a terrible lap. I'm going to have to go again. Sorry, guys. There's no way that's going to be a decent lap. Well, apparently it is. Okay. Fair enough. Apparently that was enough to get pole position. It shouldn't have done. I don't know how going off the circuit can be good for pole, but I'm not the game, I guess. Yeah, spaghetti bolognese is a great call, Snowbeaver. You're not wrong, actually, mate. Yeah, it's a fantastic one. They say lentils are a good switch for that. You can also use runner beans or red kidney beans. They go beautiful in it. All kinds of options for pulses to replace the meats. No doubt about it. And so what I've been up to today, Arista Jack, while I was working all day, and then I went and did a 10k run. And now I'm streaming. I've been a busy bee today. I've been keeping myself productive. Oh, I also did some packing because I'm going somewhere on Saturday. Can't remember where. Somewhere a few thousand miles away to a convention, I think it was. Somewhere relatively little important. Not somewhere I've been waiting to go for 3 years. Yes, I am being sarcastic, for those of you who aren't paying attention. Yeah, this car requires a lot of patience to drive. You have to wait to plant the power and wait to turn in. And wait to it's the ultimate example of waiting. And even when you wait, it doesn't always work. Listen to it squealing as it's trying to get out of corners, fighting for grip. It's just not there. And of course, if you were using a PlayStation 2 controller back in the day with the not very great X button, or the really wonky driving with the second analog stick, this would be even worse. At least with analog triggers on an Xbox modern controller or a PS4 controller, you can actually control your throttle a hell of a lot better. That's why for now we're in a decent position, but let's not count our chickens. We've got 7 laps to get in total here. It's better not to assume. In the words of Joe Lycett, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. Yep, 1:16.3, that's pretty good. So far, so good. As we're trying to win the Gran Turismo All-Stars tournament, to see what car we get. Hopefully we'll get something decent. I'd like to get one of the Group C cars. I really would like to win a Group C car. The GT cars are pretty decent, but I know there's better cars in the game. I can also do some of the driving missions maybe, just for a laugh, see if we can unlock anything from there. Oh yes, I do remember the license test with the Viper on Laguna Seca. In GT2, that was almost impossible because the car just had absolutely no grip at all. It was slightly better in GT4, but in GT2, oh, it was horrible. Ah, nice lobby. You're currently playing Ghost of Tsushima. I've heard good things about that game. It should be my thing, so I like Japanese history, but apparently I want to try playing it. I couldn't get into it. However, there is a game I'd like to do at some point as a live stream called Ghostwire Tokyo. I played about 30 seconds of that to see how it would work, and it seemed to be quite interesting, so I'd like to possibly do it as a stream. Of course, a lot of that depends on how long it's going to be available in the new PS Plus tiers. And considering I've still got SMT Digital's Double Saga 2 to finish, Wild Arms 2 to finish, and Resident Evil 4 Remake to finish, there's a lot to be done, shall we say. Oh, sorry about this, guys. Getting that annoying moment when your nose just won't stay clear for you, if you know what I mean. And no, I don't have hay fever, it's not that. At least I don't think I have hay fever. I did my garden the other day without any problems. continues to blast on to the end of this race. So far we are in the lead. We are holding our own. I'm half tempted to try something in a minute. I'm seeing the triangle flashing a lot at me. So I might try, unbelievably, turning off traction control. Because I'm having my grip strangled all the time and it's getting on my nerves. I might turn traction control off. I also think that'll stop wheel spin. The reason the wheels are spinning is the traction control's stopping the power. Considering I'm literally leaving number 11s behind me. That's not a good thing. I don't want that. Excellent. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing enough to win. We're not aiming to dominate. We just want to win. See what I mean about the lack of grip there? It was just spinning the tyres up. And I'm like, will you knock it off? Leave the tyres alone. Stop spinning. I don't want to go drifting. I want to go forwards. Stop interfering! Stop strangling my moves! Let me drive the car! So I mean, it keeps on interfering and costing me grip, and that's now cost me the race. I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose the race. All because of traction control. It threw me sideways. It didn't control my traction at all. It robbed me of all my grip. That was a very, very lucky result. Very lucky indeed. That was luck. Thoroughly undeserved. I'm going to try it without traction control because I'm fed up with it strangling my grip. There were loads of times in that race then where I was halfway through a corner, I was accelerating, and then it just stopped and started wheel spinning the tyres. It's like, you can have the softest tyres in the world, but if your wheels are going to keep spinning, it doesn't matter. So that's not the issue. I'm going to turn the traction control off and take it for a practice lap, just to see how hard it is to drive. The hardest part will be getting started. Autumn Ring. I forgot Autumn Ring. Really? Seriously? Autumn Ring? Why are we here? Of all the tracks in the world. I don't trust this to have anything but that. So, yeah, here we go. Off. Let's give it a try with no traction control. Let's just see how crazy this car drives. Yep, I've got to sit and wait, even though I'm out of the pits now. I've already crossed the white line, so I should be allowed to go at full speed here. I should be allowed to drive however I like. Well, it certainly isn't sliding sideways at least, but it's a very different beast to drive as a result. Well, it's definitely very different, but at least I'm getting into the corners now. Oh, wow. It's like the torque curve is too much for it to handle, if you know what I mean. Yes, it spins up the wheels in second, third, and fourth. It seems, yeah, it does. It spins the wheels up in those gears. Well, I've got to say, at least I'm now feeling like a driver because I'm actually feeling like I'm in control of the car. Only good enough for third. Good evening, Avian. How are you doing? All goes fine. Happy Monday, you say. Well, it might be for you, but it's not for me. I've still got work this week. But it's all okay. I say I'm mostly packed now for the weekend because I'm going somewhere relatively insignificant. Can't remember where. Nowhere important. Not anywhere I've had to get a hotel the night before for or anything like that, so it should be fine. The problem is that even though this car's got no traction control now and I'm able to drive it into the corners, I'm struggling to get out of the turns. I might have to put some traction control back on just to make myself stay competitive. But it's just so hard to get the sensitivity right for the gears. It's a shame because this car could be brilliant. But it just likes to spin its tyres too much. Well, that's going to be pole position, but it's not going to be enough to stay there. So, with that in mind, I'm going to have to put the traction control back on because, unfortunately, I don't have enough sensitivity, even with the analog controllers, to get enough power down. It's irritating, to say the least. Ooh, here's an idea, though. What's it like with active stability management turned off? I'm going to try that. This could be suicidal for the championship, people. I mean, I'd have to take it practice running again, Joe, but it's not a bad idea. I mean, if I put say I put it at put it at TCS like 3 maybe. Just out of curiosity, I'll take it for one more run. Just to see how it goes. Well, that feels a lot quicker already. Obviously, if you go too wide, you're going to spin the tyres out, so you've got to be careful of that. Oh. Right, hang on a second, guys. So, if you just give me a few seconds, I just need to quickly pop away from computer. I'm sorry, there's something that's really annoying me, and I'm going to have to sort it out. One sec. And apologies for that, people. Yeah, I just had to briefly go and something. So being disgusting, I was having a rather annoying stream on my face, which was really, really putting me off. So I've now hopefully gone and literally got rid of that, and hopefully we'll be in a better position now to drive. Oh! Memo to me, do not go Dukes of Hazzard over those bumps. This car does not like it. It's not as bad as its big brother, which went literally flipping backwards at Le Mans, to be fair, but it's still not ideal. Oh, I had down the control then. Well, that's ruined this lap, a spin. I'll be surprised if I can get a decent lap time out of that. But we shall see. Yeah, exactly, David. It was just like really putting me off. Not that it's made much difference, I still made a hash of it, but I made a hash of it on my own account this time rather than something arbitrary getting in my way. Despite the spin, we almost got the same time, so there's definitely more time to be found in this car thanks to this new little trick. Although someone's just beaten my time, so I need to get faster anyway. Yes, there are indeed a lot of turns on this track, Aristocrat. This is the Autumn Ring, and it's not that great, to be honest. I've never been a fan of it. Even back in Gran Turismo 1, I didn't like it. And at the time, I was only like 16. Boom. Just found 3 seconds. Thank you very much. That's more like it. That's put us in a much better position. What's the hardest track to play on this game? I'd probably say the Nordschleife. Although I can't stand Opera Paris, to be fair, but Opera Paris is very short. The Nordschleife is really tough because of just how long it is. One mistake can absolutely cripple your race there. You don't really get that anywhere else. Even though it's a massive track and you've got loads of ground to technically catch it up, you don't really have the opportunity. What the f... You were going nowhere near this fast in practice. Oi! You were going absolutely nowhere near that fast. You were nowhere near that pace in practice in qualifying. That's it. Race over. Race is over. The race is over. Nothing I can do. That's another reason I don't like this track. It seems... What the fuck? Now one of the other cars has crashed. So it's not just me. If that's a case of rubber banding, then Polyphony Digital can go fuck themselves. If that's what's just happened there, if it's down to rubber banding, they can go fuck themselves. Because that is the most hated fucking AI thing in the world. I can't stand rubber banding. Out of my way, you two. I think the problem is like the car's just got absolutely no rear end grip, so it's getting absolutely destroyed in the car. So I mean, did it again. Stop interfering! I'm aiming right. Stop turning me left. If I'm holding right on the steering wheel, that means the opposite of left. Get out of my way. Still, the good thing is the Nissan R390 is in first, so it's not like he's gaining a massive order of points on me. But still, so there's something about this car, it's just not liking any of the tracks so far. It's just not able to get any pace. I mean, look at the state of that. All because I can't get in the corner. Because I keep on sliding no matter what I'm doing. But there's no way that they were doing 114s in practice. They were nowhere near that pace. Absolutely nowhere near it. So to suddenly throw it in there isn't the difficulty spike. It's arbitrary bollocks. Okay. It also doesn't help, but I say the trackless selection so far has been pretty poor. Apart from Laguna Seca, these are not tracks I think of for all-star racing. I don't think of Autumn Ring when it comes to all-star racing. Understood. No grip. Evening Queen, how you going? It's going alright for me so far, apart from this car. Really not liking any of the circuits tonight. It's not liking any of them. It's just one of those nights where it's not going my way, but hey ho, what can you do? Yeah, it doesn't know that they can jump over those curbs without their car taking off. My car does. I don't know why their car doesn't move. They can ride those bumps and just ignore them. I can't do that. If I try that, I take off. So I mean, I can't do what you should do there. You should be able to aim at that curb and run over it. You shouldn't spin. In fact, I'm getting that annoyed. I'm exiting this. I'm going to restart this championship. I'm not happy with it. I'm really not happy. I'm restarting this championship. I'm going to find a different car because I'm not having fun driving it. And if I'm not having fun driving it, I'm not carrying on. I'll change to a different car. Yep, that's fine. No, I don't want to continue. We're going to restart. I'm going to find a different vehicle. Let's see. Find something. Because I'm not having fun driving it, I'm not going to carry on. Yeah, let's get in the Ford Model T. That'll dominate it. I haven't tried this car yet. I haven't tried it. Let's get it souped up. But first things first, let's change the oil for some free extra horsepower. Yeah, clip on, people. Very jive. So it's a shame that car's got all the power in the world, but it just had so much interference. It was getting both understeer and oversteer. And it was just a pig to drive. Major shame. As I say, it's got a lot of potential, that car. And as I say, unless you really know what to do with differential settings and everything else, it's just not working for me, which is fine. You know, it's okay. That's going to be fitted. Thought it would be. Okay. No, we can barely do anything to this car. But we can increase the engine power. Oh yes. 960 horsepower from a Stage 3 NA tuning. Thank you very much. We're not having turbo lag in this car. That ain't happening. That's already fitted. Weight reduction. And we can fit a new, better stability thing for it. We can do that at some point. And then tyres. It's currently got mediums on it. I reckon I'm going to need hards. Now, this car's got a lot of power, but does that mean it's going to be able to stack up to the likes of the Sauber C9? I don't know. I really have no clue. The only way we're going to know is by trying again. And we will be doing it in championship mode. We're restarting the championship. Even though we technically won one of the races already. Or two of the races, actually. Right, we've now got a full field of... we've not got a Sauber C9, and ironically, there's another one of the Ford GTs in here. But the Nissan R92 and the Jag XJR are going to be a problem, as is the Audi R8. I'm expecting them to be a bit of a challenge. Transmission-wise, only 13. Avian, the flap thing on the back of the car is called the rear wing, or the rear spoiler. And what that does is it acts in the opposite way to an airplane wing. Instead of creating lift so the car takes off, it actually works in reverse and creates drag so the air pushes it into the ground. So it's literally the opposite way around. It works the opposite of an airplane wing. Instead of trying to create lift to take off, you create a load of drag to push you down. Well, it's got a 52-point A-spec race. This is going to be a challenge. Oh, what? He spun me out! Audi R8 just spun me out. I also need to massively change the gear ratios. The gear ratios are too short. It's extremely complicated because it's not just the rear wing that does it. You also have the front splitter, which channels air in different ways around the car. Even the rear view mirrors are often angled in a specific way, so the air is cut and then put around the car, basically, to go to the rear wing. It's very, very technical, but that's the basic version of it. That's right, Joe, yeah, even the underside of the car doesn't. In modern Formula 1, they have what's called Venturi tunnels, and the air gets blown underneath the car to suck it to the ground. Legendarily, there was a car in the 1970s called, known as the Brabham fan car, and it literally had a huge, like a huge fan, almost like an air conditioner at the back of the car, and that created a specific type of air into what's known as the rear diffuser at the back of the car to suck it to the ground. It was very, very complicated. It was ingenious engineering, courtesy of the legend that is Gordon Murray, who created the McLaren F1 road car. And back in 1997, the F1 team MasterCard Lola managed to do the unthinkable. They created a car that generated so much drag that it was impossible to drive fast in a straight line because the air was slowing the car down too much, but it didn't actually create downforce. So in the corner, it had no grip. They managed to create what I call the impossible car. It was a car that was draggy with no downforce, so it was impossible to drive fast in a straight line, and you could not get it fast through the corners either. Shaving the hair, Queen. You're talking about the fact that I'm cosplaying Sailor Jupiter at Con next week and I'm going to be shaving my legs for it. Is that what you're trying to out to the world? Because I have no shame. You don't need to out it as a secret, it's the truth. Speaking of that cosplay, I actually got some boots for it. I didn't expect to arrive in time. So I've actually got the complete costume now. Apart from the wand, because they're like 300 quid and I'm not paying that for it, no chance. I'm actually amazed this car has proven so competitive. This is the car, of course, that I won for becoming the world champion. I'm actually amazed it's being so competitive in this race. I didn't expect that. I expected it to be out of its class by a long, long way. But it's actually competing very, very well. And then I go off the track like that because I talk about how good the car is and not how bad I'm driving. I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled, Avian. That'll be an awesome find. Don't get me wrong. And that's very true, Queen. It's obvious I have no shame. You all know me too well. Oh, what the I think I just crashed into a bridge. That's what happened then. I shaved too much time off the corner and went straight into a bridge. That was stupid. That was very, very, very silly of me. No matter though, because I'm going to out-drag him. It's interesting you mentioned about Olympic swimmers maybe shaving the body and wearing caps, Arian. I remember there was a fad a few years ago, I don't know if it's still going on now, where athletics runners wore full bodysuits, a bit minimal like Teletubbies or Zakin that are alive whenever he went into his like super form. And the idea was that it cut the air drag. And it actually was really controversial because people said that people weren't winning because they were actually pacing, they were gaining huge advantages. To the point that they started stepping in to ban certain outfits from events. Yeah, we're crossing the line backwards. Oh, and then he smashed me into the back as well. He didn't like my showboating. Neither did that guy, apparently. They didn't like my showboating. Oh, someone else didn't like it either. I got rear-ended right at the end. Everyone hates me, it seems, in this race. No one can stand me. Yes, so unfortunately we have reset after nearly an hour of racing at the beginning because we're having so little fun with the car we chose. But the Ford GT LM is doing actually brilliantly well. Right, Fuji Speedway 80s. Again, this is a track where we got a grid start, so we don't need to qualify here. I'm expecting this to be quite a bit tougher, but we'll see. Get a slipstream off my teammate. Off the start line, that's good. Straight into the wake of the Audi, who's had to get on the brakes. Okay, so far so good. So what? Right, how did they brake so late? They braked at literally less than 100 metres. I braked at the same point they did and went straight down. That's insane. And yes, Joe, it is very, very different in the Merc. It feels a lot more like grippy in the corners. I feel like I've got a bit more grip. You might be wondering how based off the way I just took that first corner, and that's because I was an idiot. But we put that aside, the actual car itself gripped very well into the corner. It gave me a lot more power out of it as well. So I will now follow my teammate. Give me that very helpful slipstream, please. Thank you very much. Good team playing there. I owe you a pint later when we get back to the pits. Okay, this is good. I don't think I'm going to catch up here, but we shall see. Right, just before 150 on the brakes. Yes. Okay, that's not bad. So yes, this is incredibly different to the Mercedes. Massively different, but I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near the front of this grid. Unless the Audi and the Jag start battling each other. Not the Audi and the Jag, sorry, the Nissan and the Jag. If the Nissan and the Jag start battling, then I might have a chance. This is one race, I think, where having the slipstream is vital. But I don't have a slipstream there. so I can't use it. But now I do because the air's stalled. You can hear how the air resistance have changed. Sorry, dude. Yeah, you can lead into the final corner. That's fine. He was going to ram me up the arse then, so I had to get out of his way. And that worked. Yeah, there's that. Well, denying other racers the slipstream. Well, that's a standard tactic known as breaking the toe, Queen. It's quite common in a lot of sports, although it sometimes gets dangerous where drivers keep weaving on the circuit. So in a lot of elite motorsports like F1, IndyCar and all that lot, they actually ban it now and you can only make 1 or 2 committed moves. I think it's 1 committed move and that's it. And if you weave late, you get a very, very big telling off. The stewards do not like that. Gone are the days of when Ayrton Senna was like weaving 5 times in a corner to cut Mansell off at Monaco. Those days are long gone. Yep, so because I don't want him getting the slipstream, I'm going to peel close to the pit wall. I'm on the dirty line here, but it's on purpose because I want to cut the toe. Oh, and he still managed to hit me at the arse. He managed to slam into the back of me. He's 100% at fault for that accident. He failed to leave sufficient braking distance to stop safely. Automatic fault in a road traffic accident, that people. You are automatically at fault. What's known as only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. Basically, you should reach an object the car ahead of you does 2 seconds or more after it. You can tell I spent my years as an auto claims adjuster, can't you, people? So we're going to have to settle for 3rd here, which is disappointing, but it's because of that first corner. I got the first corner completely wrong, made a total hash of it. No, you're thinking of toe as in the foot, Queen. I'm thinking toe as in TOW, as if literally you're being towed behind another vehicle, like a tow truck. What you're doing is you're getting into the toe and being dragged along by the reduced air. So the car ahead is technically towing you along by cutting a hole in the air and reducing the aerodynamic drag. That's why it's called breaking the toe. Because you're refusing to serve as their tow truck. Do I think many a person has broken their toe by trying too hard in a race and crashing? Coincidentally, using toe in your spelling sense actually is technically not wrong, because you can also have the toe of a tyre, as in, like, you know, the part of the tyre on the outside that's put a certain angle. That's called adjusting the toe. Whereas if you adjust the inside of the tyre, that's known as camber. Yep, Kota 2022. Very good call, actually, Joe. Yeah, you're not wrong. And by Kota, you mean Circuit of the Americas, for those of you again who aren't motor racing fans. In Austin, Texas. Right, for this we're definitely qualifying. This is a track with a rolling start. I am not risking being stuck at the back of it. I've already dropped 2 points to Nissan, so I need to start clawing them back. That third place was a disaster. I don't know why it won't give me control here. I'm already past the control line. I should be able to go whatever speed I want here. Instead, I've now got to overtake the BMW McLaren, which is really irritating. I shouldn't have to do that. My pit crew released me at the wrong time and released me into traffic, and it's screwed me up. Because it screwed my warm-up, and now I've not got my tyres in the temperature I need. And you can't change that. Nothing you can do. It always puts you out at the wrong time. And if you think I'm going to follow another car around on my qualifying lap, you've got another thing coming. It ain't happening. I'm in the lead. I'm going for it. But this is a circuit where my car could do tremendously well. I say could for a reason, because I'm the one driving it. So here we go. Onto the lap. Brake just before mark of 3, and then get really patient on the gearing as the corner tightens, and out we go. I've got to say, in Gran Turismo 7, the S-License test for this track is actually very enjoyable because you drive a Super Formula car. So you're basically driving a step below a Formula 1 car. It has so much grip, so much acceleration, and so much braking power. It also has a push to pass, which I didn't know about, which gives you a load of horsepower, so I did it without using that. I did it legit, but you can actually make it even easier. I think it's the Super Formula, it's either a Toyota or a Honda, I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, what the hell. Right, we're going through the stand, screw it. Car understeered. I wasn't taking any chances. We're going over the sand dunes. It should be a disqualified lap. The game doesn't do it, so I don't care. So this car's got a lot more grip, and it's put us on pole position. That'll do nicely, thank you. Because the one with the rolling start is you start way down, and catching the pace up is really awkward. You can sometimes be as long as 10 seconds back. So it's a massive difference, it's a massive penalty. So it's not as bad as in Gran Turismo 7 though, where you can be as long as 45 seconds behind, which makes no sense at all. For some circuits you literally start half a lap down. It's like, why should you have a half lap penalty? Because you can't qualify. So on we go, and this is our chance now. If we can keep our cool, with me at the wheel, that's going to be a big ask. But if we can keep our cool, we should be able to get a relatively straightforward victory based off the pace so far. But again, that's the pace so far. I'm not counting my chickens just yet. So I mean, terrible understeer into that corner. I can't get the car to turn in with a corkscrew for some reason. Might be because the tyres are still not fully up to temperature. Because normally I'm able to get into that corner. I'm not able to fly through it flat or anything, don't get me wrong, but I'm able to get a decent pace in it usually. doesn't help when I'm hearing the car squealing and struggling for grips. It sounds like there's some kind of interference going on. There we go, that's better. Apparently on this circuit there is actually an Easter egg to F1 involving the trucks. Apparently it has trucks for F1 cars behind the barriers at Laguna Seca. So at some point I'll have to come in photo mode here and see if I can find them, because that'd be a nice little visual treat for all you motorsport fans out there. Seeing some classic era liveries from this point. Maybe the likes of the Benetton, for example, or the Jordan. Oh God, once again, see, the brakes just would not work. So admittedly cutting the sand thing like that is cheating, but if the car's not going to stop, I've got no choice. Well, I do have a choice. Brake earlier. Learn the circuit. Know what I'm doing. Be a good driver. They're all things I can do, but it'll take time. Ah, so it's a nice Easter egg, so it is actually in here. I'll have to see if I can find them at some point, because it's just a cool little tip. And for those of you who say Formula 1 doesn't run at Laguna Seca, one time it did. Toyota brought their car around it. I think it was being driven by someone like Cristiano D'Amata, and he was the one who drove it round there and set an unofficial lap record. It's unofficial because it's not been set in a race. That's why it doesn't count. Even qualifying laps don't count for the lap record because they're not in a race. You have to be in a racing event for it to count. So if you ever wonder why qualifying laps are never as faster than the official fastest laps, now you know why. Time trialing like in a video game is not common. Not unheard of, just not common. Ford GT LM is actually doing pretty well here. I'm quite surprised. We've got a very sizable gap now. But just because I've got a sizable gap, I'm not taking my foot off the accelerator. I don't trust myself to not throw it away. Like I almost did it, I think it was this circuit last time actually. I was in charge of a Mercedes. Sorry guys, one sec, I'm getting a bit dry. So, break out the emergency water. Let's try again. Okay, here we go. Whoops, got that wrong. I got that totally wrong. Not a fast lap that, because I went through the sand I think and lost a load of grip, but it's okay. It's certainly faster than the field, and we're currently about 10 seconds in the lead, so all we got to do here is be smooth now. So let's try and take it as smooth as we can. Good. Keeping an eye on my tyres as well, because they're currently hovering in the yellow zone. They're not too badly worn at the moment. But too much effort and leaning on them is going to cause a problem, so I've got to be careful here. Yay, we navigated it legit this time. We've actually kept to the circuit, people. I've managed to drive within the white lines for once. Can I do it for the rest of the lap? That's the question. Can I set a clean lap? Just about. Just did enough. Currently on the hards, Joe, because as I say, the tyre wear will be too high if it's on the if it was on the mediums. That's also why I'm sliding a bit, because I've not got the grip that you have on the mediums. You just don't have much grip on them. The tyre scaling for grip on this game is really quite severe. If you're on the super hards, they are very, very gripless. They're very hard to get any grip with. Whereas if you're on the qualifying tyres, you got all the grip in the world, but they burn out in like literally half a lap. Whereas the super hards will go quite a long way depending on the car you're driving. I mean, here, I'm not sure the tyre wear is that great on this car, to be honest, but it's still working, to say the least. So I've never played Mario Kart Double Dash Fiona, so I can't really comment on it, but it's say 7 laps isn't too bad. That's a decent number, really. Well, unless you make a mistake like that, in which case it's 7 laps too long. So I can definitely feel the grip going away at the back of the car, so the tyres are taking a lot of punishment. Which is not much of a surprise, because it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive with 900 brake horsepower. So you've got to expect the tyres to take a pounding from that. Those tyres will struggle. Still, the pace is strong enough. We're setting decent lap times because the computer at the moment aren't catching up. So as long as we keep it relatively clean, it doesn't matter if we're like blowing the field away in terms of lap time or not. All that matters is that we're keeping our grip and that we're not putting ourselves at risk. Yep, that's great. That's awesome. I mean, if it is that case, Fiona, that like Mario Kart only goes up to 7 laps, then that's cool for Mario Kart. And so I'm used to racing much longer races. As you saw when I did the Tokyo 246 race. 60 laps. All awesome. So this is a much needed race victory. And the Audi being in second place is a good thing for me, because it will mean that the amount of points gap that I'll have got on the Nissan will increase. There we go. Yep, so that's pretty good. We're beating 3 Le Mans prototypes here today. And in terms of the championship, it's looking quite meaty actually, because I'm on 24. Yeah, so you can see there, it's getting quite tight at the top. With the Jag. So it's going to be an interesting one into the back end of the season. I don't know how many races there are in this one. I'm assuming there's 10. You're surprised by the Audi coming in P2, eh, Joe? I'm pretty sure it was a decent car, the Audi. Oh yeah, so here we are at Autumn Ring Reverse. Ugh. I might need the super hards for this one, because the tyres were going off at the back end of the car in Laguna Seca. And this circuit, I think, has... well, it's got an extra 2 laps, so I get the feeling the tyre wear could be an issue here. Especially with some of the corners being quite high speed. Oh, ice cold tyres, not a good way to start. Well, that felt a lot faster than the Mercedes. A hell of a lot quicker. That's a really gimmicky corner, that. It's a really annoying corner as well. Yeah, same kind of understeer into that bank corner. It's strange because a bank corner should give you the camber to go fast, but it doesn't seem to do that in this game. It's weird. You don't seem to get the same effect unless you're on the test course. Horrendous understeer them. But this feels quite a bit quicker than the Mercedes. It still has the same understeer problem there though, which is really annoying. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, see, that was much more stable through there. So much more stable. Yeah, way more stable. This feels so much faster, but whether it is or not, I don't know, but it feels it, and that's usually a good indicator. As I say, I'm probably going to need the super hard tyres because I got the feeling the rear tyres are going to take too much of a punishment. Yeah, you definitely can't take the inside on that one, but you can there. Based off the performance so far, this car feels so much faster than the Mercedes. Yeah, 111s. That was so much faster. The best I could do in the Mert was 114. So I'm gonna gamble on the hard tyres and hope they hold up. And so we've not got the Sauber C9, but we've got the Audi in second place again, which is kind of cool. So maybe the Audi is going to give us a chance there. Here we go. So we flash onto corner one. Yeah, that was a lot better, wasn't it? I say the Audi once again is holding the second place, and if it does, that's great because that allows us to lead out further in the championship if we can win the race. So the original Audi was a great car, wasn't it? I think that might still hold the overall record for the amount of distance covered. I think Andre Lotterer and I can't remember who else was his teammate at the time, did something daft like 391 laps of that configuration of Le Mans, which is ridiculous when you think about it. 391 laps is a lot of distance. Oh, we're off the circuit. Considering each circuit lap is about 8 miles long, so 391 miles is a lot. 391 laps is a lot of miles. Over 1,000. That's it, Tom Christensen. I think you're right, yeah, I think it would have been Tom Christensen. Andre Lotterer and Christensen probably did it, yeah. All I do remember is that Alan McNish was in one of the luckiest crashes I've ever seen for Audi. And I think it was 2011 when his car went off at the S's after Dunlop. I mean, hit a Ferrari, hit a wall, took off into the air, and despite there being photographers and marshals right behind the barrier, not a single person was hit by debris. It's one of the luckiest crashes I've ever seen. I watched it live and was absolutely horrified. I thought I was about to see someone literally get like impaled by carbon fibre. How they got away with that to this day, I do not know. It was the luckiest crash survivor I've ever seen. If you run a search for Alan McNish Le Mans, if you've not seen it, you'll understand what I mean. It's one of the craziest crashes I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of crashes. But yeah, Tom Christensen, not only Mr. Audi, but Mr. Le Mans holds the record, doesn't he? Won it 9 times. Him and Jackie Hicks hold the most amount of victories, I think. I know what you mean, Joe. I completely agree with you. When I saw that crash, I thought, holy hell, we've got something big here. I say I watched it live. I was watching it on Eurosport, I think, and I just remember going, oh, wow. It was almost as bad as, of course, when Peter Dunbrack had his crash in the Mercedes CLR, which took off into the forest. That's another horrifying crash to watch. So far, the car's pace is holding up. Aside from that bogey track third that we got, we're so far holding our own, but we've got to keep it going to the end of the race, and the tyre wear is going to be a problem here. We're not yet at our half distance, we're just getting on the edge of yellow, so this could be a squeaky bottom final 2 laps. That's why I'm taking wider lines and I'm trying not to get on the gas too soon. Anything to avoid putting extra wear in the tyres while maintaining the gap over the Hardy, because if that gap shrinks, then I'm in trouble. Although little corner cuts like that are going to help. I'm going to say the lap pace is strong. Despite setting 1:14 for pole in the Mercedes race, these are all doing 1:11s, same pace as I am. So either the game rubber bands the AI difficulty, which I can't see because they don't do it in any other event, or I was genuinely that much slower in the Mercedes, which is a massive issue. Shows how hard we had to fight to win the GT World Championship. Yeah, you can see that Audi is really closing the gap. Despite the fact that I've just put a new fastest lap in. That gap's not going any bigger, it's not growing. So the Audi is actually putting up a major fight here. Yeah, even with the speed that I'm getting out of the corners, it's just not enough to pull away from the Audi. The Audi keeps closing the gap, but for now, we're in an okay position. Let's not blink. Let's not get mad. Let's not get edgy. Let's instead do what we can to gain any extra time. Yeah, very fast Audi. You're not wrong, actually, Joe. The Audi's impressing me in this race. I mean, I am in a car which is not really at the elite level, but I'll say that those tyres at the back are really worrying me now. I am really concerned by those rear tyres. I did say I might need the super hards, and I should have put them on. But it's too late to back out now. We're stuck with it. I'm going to run out of tyres there, I know it. See, there he is, right in the mirror now. Running the numbers, I can afford to finish second. But I'd like to win. Not only for pride, but to keep a decent gap. This is all going to come down to how well I can keep these can I keep these tyres alive to any degree. Here we go. It's too late to pit. Even if I wanted to pit, we can't. So here we go. This is where it comes down to, can I keep the car on the island? And can I keep the Audi behind me? This is actually, this would make a phenomenal driving mission. This is the kind of thing the mission should have been. Your tyres are running out, you've got a lead of 20 seconds, defend it all you can. I'd find that way more interesting than having chase the rabbit scenarios where you start in 30-45 seconds adrift and you have to try and catch up in 3 laps. Yeah, there's no way I can keep up. The tyres are gone. There's nothing I can do. I can't keep with him. The tyres have literally reached the cliff. The only way I could beat him is by knocking him off the circuit, and even that's not guaranteed. So I mean, I was afraid that might happen when I saw 9 laps. I thought, I'm pushing my luck here with 9 laps on these tyres. Now I've just got to get home second. I've got no choice in the matter. I've got enough time. This car is undrivable now. It's the slowest I've ever done it, but we're going to make it. A shame, but still good. So we lost 10 seconds on the last lap. Right, sorry guys, 1 second. Just be back in a moment. There's one thing I need to sort out. 1 more sec. And we're back. Okay. So we came second, which is disappointing, has to be said. And as you can see, in terms of the championship, still in the lead, but only by 6 points. So it's quite a lot to play for in this championship. Our question now, realistically, is what circuits are we going to... We're on the test course. Right, pardon me. I can't believe this is a race here. I really can't. I reckon the hard tyres... Well, to be fair... Oh, I've not got super hards. Oh. Oh, bugger. I don't have super hard tyres. Right, we're going all the way to the top. I want top speed at maximum. And the downforce is coming right off. I can't believe we're racing at the sudden test course of all the races. Still, what we're going to have to do now is mash the accelerator. I'm not bothering to qualify on this. By starting last... Oh, we've got a 93.1 for this. Wow. That suggests we're very, very out of our class. But as I say, we've taken the downforce off. We've maximised the gear ratios. And now what we're going to do is we're going to maximise the draft. This is why I didn't mind not qualifying on this race. Not qualifying was less of an issue here. This is all about slipstreaming, drafting. And with the Nissan and the Jaguar not too far away, ironically, I can actually possibly let the Audi draft me to pass me, so I can then do the same with him. What's known as tag team slipstreaming. Or if anyone watched Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, what was known as shake and bake. The Audi driver's letting me down. I'm trying to give him a tow, but he's not taking it. I actually need him to pass me. So that I can do the same. So I'll come off the corner at 240. Just out of range of the slipstream for the Jag at the moment. No, now I'm not. Now I'm in the draft. I can feel it. We're at 254 miles an hour. We are at bullet speed. Now this is where my speed's going to drop right down. So if the same thing happens, I've got to stay close enough to pick the toe back up again. This is what I was talking about earlier, Queen, when I talked about breaking the toe and giving the toe. Now, at the moment, they're going to be trying to get a toe off me. So if I pull off to the left, he's no longer got the airflow. Now the question is, what's his top speed? Because if his top speed is naturally like, say, 240, 235, then I'm not going to get away from him. However, you might think this is crazy, but I'm trying to let him get closer to me now. That's not ideal, but it's okay. Let him get ahead slightly. And then now I want to get into the toe, just as the corner starts to come to an end. Because now... this is where we've got to, ironically, help each other out. I don't want to give him a slipstream, but in order to win, I have to. I have to let him catch me and pass me. Because this is all about maximum speed. Now what he's got to try and do is decide when he's going to go. This is where it's a game of chess. This is chess at 230 miles an hour. That's what this game is. And you can see, I think it's waiting on when to go. Now at some point I can always just let go of the accelerator and let him go past me. So he's currently in second place. I don't want him in second, well, I'm currently in second place, sorry. I want to keep him in second. What I need to do now is be careful of the Hardy, because the Hardy's caught right up to us too. So you say this is like NASCAR, Joe. It's not far off. Ironically, now that Hardy is attacking the back of the Nissan, now this could be useful, because if those two get into a duel and I don't give a tow, I might be able to beat the pair of them. So this is actually a really good test of your skill as a driver, because you're having to. I'm constantly riding my mirrors. I'm literally looking at the top part of my screen only. I'm kind of tack turning off my peripheral vision, deliberately keeping to the bottom of the bowl because I don't want to give a tow. Now these guys are very, very close. If they get a tow off me, they're going to steal it at the last few seconds. But there's a chance they might do that anyway. This is going to be fucking tight, this. This is going to be really, really tight. Oh! Look at that time! Look at that time! There was less than 8/100ths of a second between us. That is the closest finish I'm ever going to see on this game. Wow! And that's critical because that's given me a clean race victory as a gap in the championship. It's interesting how the Jag has suddenly fallen way off in the title as the Hardy has had a huge renaissance. Absolutely colossal. But yes, I said I can't believe we were racing there, and that was actually one of the more interesting races I've had. That was actually a really good challenge. It was all about taking all the aero off, maximising the gear ratios, and going all-out attack. Catching up at the start was critical. Now we're back at Grand Valley Speedway in reverse, so this is where we're going to undo all the changes we made to the car. We're going to undo every single one of these. Now I don't know how many laps I've got for this, because this is the problem. If I've got a load of laps, then I'm going to really struggle due to the tyres. Depends on how many laps there are. I want maximum downforce for this, because there's quite a lot of tight, twisty corners, and there's some high-speed, grippy corners too. So, here we go. We have only 6 laps. I think I should be able to get the tyres to the end of that. Now, unfortunately, I'm coming out in a terrible position for traffic again. This is going to be tight, but I might just have the lead. And if I do, that's great. Yes, excellent. Nice one. Okay, we're in the clear. So yes, the high-speed drafting is over for now. Now it's into a more traditional course. This is considered the signature circuit of Gran Turismo. It's like one of the first circuits we all drove back in the day. And to say it's mostly retained this spirit. This is a pity that the version of it in Gran Turismo 7 has lost all of what made it unique. Considering this circuit's got quite a decent shape, it's not unrealistic as a track. I don't know why they didn't just bring it back properly instead of turning it into a weird California highway race. It's just not the same. Yeah, the endurance race on the circuit is actually a good one, isn't it? I remember back in the day on GT1 where it was like 60 laps. I love that race. And I say it's always been a good circuit. Because again, it feels like a good mix between like a really fantastical circuit and a traditional circuit. It has a really cool looking layout. It's not that unrealistic as a circuit either, in terms of, you know, where the access roads are and everything else. It does look like a circuit that could exist for real. There's no reason that this circuit couldn't exist for real in many ways, apart from budget and a place to hold the race. Because as I say, the design's brilliant. Obviously the backdrop depends on where you put the damn track, but in terms of its actual course layout, it's got enough challenge for all classes of vehicle, whether it's a GT, whether it's like, you know, motorcycles, Formula 1 cars, Le Mans prototypes, road cars. Drift cars could easily go around it with some of these corners. You could imagine cars doing drift competitions through these tunnels, for example. It could be pretty epic if you're into drifting. So there's all kinds of cool stuff to watch. So this is our first lap. We're doing this as a test only because we're going to be setting ourselves on the grid, trying to get pole position if we can. All depends on what kind of pace they're doing, really. Oh, well, they're going to do a lot faster than me going off the circuit like that. If that gets me pole, I'd be very, very surprised. I'd be incredibly surprised if that was a pole position lap, but stranger things have happened. I believe this is a rolling start, this circuit. That's why I'm qualifying. If it's a grid start, it's still advantageous to be on pole, obviously, but it's not as bad as being at the back of the chain in a rolling start. That was something we all learned to live with in Gran Turismo 2. You had no way of qualifying. At least in GT3 they brought that back, and in 4 they hybridised it, where you can't qualify on a lot of races, but in the championships you can qualify. Right, let's show him first place, so I'm going to quickly back out. And that is... Oh, we kept first place and we're ahead of the Jag. Interesting, the Jag XJR suddenly come back into it. Oh, it turns out it is a grid start after all. Every other race I've had on this track has been a bleeding rolling start. No matter, always start from pole. So we get the best of both worlds. We get to lead from the start, which is better than catching up, it has to be said. Still... Okay, Mr. Jaguar, if you want to pump me up the backside, that's fine. I'll keep my lead and you'll drop down to third. Works for me. Actually, no, it doesn't. I wanted him second place, holding up the Audi and the Nissan to increase my lead in the championship. But hey-ho, can't have everything. So this is where we're going to see if our pace respective to the field is strong or not. Or if we just glitched our way to getting into first position by being the first to set a time. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that if you set your lap time first, you'll be in there no matter what your pace is, if you know what I mean. I get a sneaking suspicion it doesn't simulate race qualifying times for everybody else like in most other racing games. So if you exit once you've crossed the line, you're guaranteed pole. And if that's the case, then it's a bit cheap. Not that I mind being cheap. There's times I'm so cheap I wouldn't even tip a canoe. Again, a lot of this is going to come down to essentially the tyres, because that's my one concern. I've not got any way of fitting super hards. I can't get them. It's too late. In the middle of the championship, you can't buy parts for your car. You are stuck. So because I've not got super hard tyres, I am up against it here. We saw at Autumn Ring just how up against it I was. So it's why I'm trying to get a lap now, get a decent gap so I can start slowing my pace down a little bit, just to try and avoid squealing the tyres. But with the fact that we're up against Le Mans prototypes, we don't really have that option. We've just got to stick with it as best we can. It doesn't help when we go too wide like that. That's not good driving. Yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, excellent, we're in. Possibly got a bit too greedy on the power then, but we'll get away with it. I say we only have to lead. We don't have to obliterate the pace. We currently have a gap of 5 seconds. 6 seconds? 6 seconds we've got a gap of. So that's okay. So we're just got to be careful to protect the tyres. If we can manage that, we'll be alright. I'm guessing we're going to have a race around the Nordschleife on this series. But then again, we might not. It might be one of those series that doesn't include it. I certainly wasn't expecting a test course, so... You can see, if you look at the colour tones of my tyres, or some of the other tyres have got a lighter green shade than the others. That's because I've got a driving style which leans on one side of the car. Oh, Jag's in second. Excellent. Stay there. If the Jag stays in second, that's really, really, really good news for me. Because it'll mean gaining as much as 14 points or more on my nearest rival. Which I need. Not 14 points, sorry. It'll be minimum of 6 points instead of 4 even. Would it be possible to gain 14 points on my nearest rival? This isn't Formula 1 with the 25 point scheme. What am I talking about? Okay, acid test. How's our pace? We're doing a 1:41 and we're... Oh, right, okay, I'm going to have to put the pace up. They're doing 1:39s. That's annoying. I didn't want to do that, but I've got no choice. They're just taking 2 seconds out of me. Two laps to go. Right. And so I did a 41 last time. This time I've done a 39. So, what's the pace? Matching them. Okay, that's fine. Matching I can live with. And again, this is where this visual glitch of mine that's not showing me the split times is actually adding to the challenge, because I'm having to try and react on live on the fly, and I'm sometimes getting it right and other times I'm not. Oh fuck! Oh, I got away with it. I'll just about get away with that. That was not good, and that's a major problem. So that suggests my tyres might hit the cliff on the final lap again. Autumn Ring's calling it. It wants its revenge, it seems. Yep, that's okay. It's not ideal, but we're keeping it together for now. And I miss the days when I could just use the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak and just obliterate everything. Pikes Peak go brrr. Can't do that in this game. At least I don't think you can anyway. Okay, it's all come down to this. It's a one-lap shootout. 1, 2, 3. 3-second gap. Okay. Can we do enough to keep position? No, we can't. We've gone off. We've crashed. And that's because I felt something. Oh, God damn it. Why? Why did he have to do that? God damn it. Why? Why did he have to rear end me? Oh, this is horrible. Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't think so, pal. Get back behind me. Oh, it's happened again. I can feel my tyre going. This is all because I don't have the super hard tyres. That's the only reason that this is happening. Oh. Okay. No. Stop rear-ending me. Seriously, that... why did he keep doing that? Stop running me off the circuit! I lost out because they fucking cheated. Right, bollocks to this. I can fucking do that as well. Unfortunately, that's cost me, but it felt good. That only happened because both the Jag and the Nissan smashed me off the circuit. Both of them. Both of them crashed into my back end and ruined my race. Cheating fuckers. Fortuitously, I've got the gap to play with. I've still got a 9-point lead. Seriously, why can't you make AI that doesn't deliberately crash into the back of you? Well, if that's the way you want to play it, next opportunity I've got, I'm smashing you off at the first corner, and I'm going to keep on smashing all you off all the time. 5 laps of Suzuka. Yeah, we're not going to be winning this race. Here we go. Come on, teammate, give me a tow, please. Thank you. Oh, it is incredibly frustrating. You're not wrong. But... and you see that? They barely moved. You notice that? They barely moved. When you smack into them, they barely move. That's part of the problem. The physics in this game aren't balanced. You get smacked up the backside and you go all over the place. You start fishtailing, you gain loads of speed. They barely moved. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Naomi. I'll say it's just terrible AI. It's such a terrible design. There's no reason the AI have to smack into the back of you. There's no reason for it. But again, like many things that Kaz makes, he makes them half-arsed. He makes... on one hand, he makes something great, and on the other hand, he just screws it up. Kind of like the way I screwed at that braking point then. That was me. So yeah, this championship is now unlikely to be won. Which is a shame, because it was going really well, but too many times the computer's been allowed to ruin my race by smacking into the back of me and screwing me over. I've lost too many races because of the arbitrary reasons. The tyres are autumn ring, can't blame the computer for that. That'd be ridiculous. But the other times where you get smacked into the back of and taken out, that's not racing. I expect that in open lobbies. I don't expect that in a game. I'm not expected to win either. You know what? I just remembered something. One thing we can do the computer can't do. If they're going to cheat, so am fucking I. If they're going to cheat, I'm going to cheat. That's equalising the playing field. You guys who smack me off the circuit and ruin my race, I'll simply ignore the circuit and go my own way. So I mean, rammed into the side of it, wouldn't deviate from his line. It's like once you're on their line, they'll hit you off to get the line back, kind of thing. Fiona, I don't think anyone understands why Jerry Horner is going to be in the next in the GT movie. Everyone's scratching their heads at that one. It makes no sense. It's not going to add any star power to the building. It's not going to make the movie seem any more attractive to casual people. So why she's there is anyone's guess. You tell me. Come on, get on the track, get on the track, get on the track! Excellent, okay, yeah, good, nice one. Right, one more time. We are going to ignore that. Oh, that's annoying, I got it wrong. Well. This race kiss goodbye. Yeah, the inconsistent physics don't help, it must be said, Fiona, but... not Fiona, sorry, Naomi, but yeah, I can't speak for that AI kids game, because I've never heard of it. Snowboard kids? Totally not something I'd expect to hear about, to be honest, that. Stop interfering and let me put the power down! Now, so you say road rage, Fiona. Not quite road rage, no. It's more AI rage. Because again, the game has not balanced it properly in terms of how their cars behave. If you get hit by them, you'll often fly forward at high speed, you'll lose a lot of grip. Whereas if you hit them, they'll barely move. It's like their car is like a tank. It's like they've not got it's like they've got an extra ton of weight to shove you around without any penalty for handling or speed. So you know, it's not really that. It's more a case of being out of control for reasons that are arbitrary. And I say it doesn't help when, like, you know, you're starting a corner and then for no reason the car slides sideways. Like there, for example, I was halfway through the corner, I was planted on my line, and then it started sliding to the right. I'd not done anything to cause it, it just started moving, it started crabbing sideways, as if the suspension was broken. But there's no damage in this game, so it can't be that. There's no such thing as damaged suspension, to my knowledge. And I say, it doesn't help that the tyre scaling isn't right either. The tyres wear out far too quickly. The tyres don't scale, and it seems that, like I say, they don't have the same problem with tyre wear, which I know for a fact. If I ran their car, I'd have tyre wear problems. It's like they don't have tyre wear. They're doing endurance races, but that's about it. So it's a very lonely race to 4th place, and the problem with that is I've not got the points in the bank, I don't think, to win the tournament. Because it's going to close the gap by another 6 points here, at this rate. Or maybe even more points now, think about it. He'll get 10 and I think I'll get... Yeah, I'll get 3, so we'll close by 7 points. What I need is a circuit where I have a better chance of winning. But it doesn't look like I can get in one anytime soon. A trial mountain, for example, where I can wall ride would be welcome. A Le Mans where I can cut all the chicanes. You know what I mean? Something like that. where I can really... Once again, I don't understand it. Like, I understand it losing grip under braking, but why when I'm halfway through a corner and I'm in a straight line does it start crabbing sideways? That just doesn't make sense. It's just not realistic. I know that people say they prefer the handling of the cars in GT3 than this game. They say GT3's car physics were better. I've not played GT3 fully though, so I can't really explain it. It could be a light front end maybe, who knows, Naomi. The main thing is now we're on the final lap, all I've got to do is try not to screw it up and get towards the end. And then see what we can salvage at the next race. Hopefully salvage some decent points. This has been a tough championship, this. And if I don't win it here, we're going to be trying again on on Wednesday. Yeah, you know when I said try not to screw it up? Yeah, kind of like that. Try not to do that. But alas, I did screw it up, and that's my fault. And that's okay. If you're at fault for something, hold your hands up and get on with it. That's a big rule in life, actually. The more you try and hide something and bury something, the more it comes back to bite you, I find. One of my colleagues at work mentioned in the event that cases get referred to them because they're a senior team, and it comes out to, like, say, for cases being like what they call like litigated on, they have a wonderful phrase for it, which is everything comes out in the wash. Oh no, you got a line running down your monitor. Oh no, Queen, that's awful. How old's your monitor and what kind is it? Is it like a really annoying green? Where is it as well? Because my emulation software does create a couple of lines, so it might be my software. So whereabouts on screen is it? Not the best race, this one. Not very good. At least we made it to the end now. Even though we were some way behind. And in terms of the championship now, this has royally messed me up. Yeah, you see, I'm only 2 points in the lead in the Nissan. And the Audi and the Jag are only within 10 points too, so it's quite close. In terms of a championship, it looks fantastic. But in terms of having much chance of winning it, it's not looking great. We've got 3 more races to go. 7, because that's race 7 in the bank. So what's race number 8 going to be? Where are we going to be taking place this one? That's the big question. Where is that happening? Infineon's stock car course. Right, well this is definitely going to be a rolling start. So let's get a qualifying lap in. And the big question is how many laps can the tyres go? Ah, so it's near the centre. Right, yeah, it's definitely not my software then. Damn it, I'm sorry to hear that, Queen. There's nothing worse than when tech starts to let you down like that. It's just frustrating. I don't know how long you've had it, but it's... say, I remember years ago having a TV that started developing scan lines in the middle of the image. That was quite irritating to live with, it must be said. Yeah, you can go outside the wall there, but it's not always easy to do. Yeah, unfortunately you get grass there, so you can't... You can't kind of like do a version of wall riding on the outside using the outside runoff area. You can't do that. As much as you want to, the game's like, no. Right, this is a course where the Audi should do great because it has this track's name on its livery. So I'd expect this circuit to be where the Audi is incredible. But we shall see. So it's a tricky track, this, what's known as Sears Point, Infineon Raceway, in Sonoma, California. Very good circuit, featured in quite a lot of games. It was one of the mainstays of American Le Mans back in the day, the American Le Mans series. So I don't know what happened to ALMS. I don't know if it's still a thing. Here we are, desperately trying to keep it smooth, not put too much power in the tyres. Because I want to see... I don't know how many laps I've got of this, but I think it's going to be quite a lot of laps. Because it's not the longest lap. And when it's not a long lap, that usually means there's a lot of laps to do. Doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's likely. We're just on a 106, but whether that's going to be the kind of pace they're pulling, I don't know. The only way to find out is by getting on the circuit. But we come ahead of the Nissan R92 CP. Huh? What the hell? What? What have I just done? Oh no, I think I've activated B-Spec mode. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's screwed me over. That's screwed me over. I've accidentally put it into AI mode. Basically, B-Spec mode is where you have a driver who drives it for you. And as you can see, he's really not very good. He's absolutely awful. He won't have any skill points. I've screwed myself over. I'm absolutely screwed myself. There's nothing I can do. The only potential advantage here is if they all start struggling to get past him. So I just, as soon as I saw the options, I thought, hang on, what's going on? Now I realise I've just screwed myself over. I've absolutely screwed myself. There's nothing I can do. I mean, the one thing I can do is if I press R1, the one advantage to this, because there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to win here, is I can speed the race up. I can put it into telemetry mode and speed the race up 3 times. That's literally the only thing I can do. Yeah, you can see they were doing 109, so I'd struggle anyway. I mean, I suppose the advantage to this is we'll get B-Spec Bob, as he's known, to get some more race experience. His score was 0. That was his skill points. So his skill points here are terrible. So the fact that he's even keeping the car on the island is actually kind of impressive. But unfortunately, he's absolutely hopeless on pace and hopeless on control. And that's, again, not much of a surprise. As I say, unfortunately, it's going to condemn me to another 4th place. And it means now that I'm going to definitely lose the championship. I'll have 2 races to try and do the impossible. Because the Nissan's going to win. I'm going to get just a measly 3 points. So he's going to gain an advantage of 5 points going into the final 2 races. I mean, if I restart now, it's too late, Queen, because it'll take us way past the end of the stream. We might as well see this through and see how badly we do. We might as well see it through. We'll try seeing it through, go as far as we can. Because again, if I really wanted to, I'm not going to do it. If I really wanted to, I could always cheat. Because there are cheat codes for this game. But if you notice, look at his tyre wear when it comes from the top right corner. Nowhere near as worn as mine, is it? You notice that? But then again, look at the pace he's on. He's nowhere near the leaders. So that explains why I've been struggling with tyre wear. Because I've been having to push the car beyond its limits. But the Ford and the BMW McLaren are in it. So no, there's no point keeping it on this mode, Queen. Not a chance. There's absolutely no way that this car will have a hope of winning the final 2 races. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that for 3. I can tell you that for absolutely 3. Two reasons why. First of all, my B-Spec character has not got the experience. That's the simple truth. I've been A-Spec-ing the entire tournament, as it's known, which means I'm on human control. This is B-Spec mode and I accidentally activated it. It wasn't part of the plan. It was not intended. But every time he does races, he gains more experience points. It's kind of like having an AI version of an RPG. A lot of people use this mode as a way to get around doing the endurance races. If you get your B-Spec Bob up strong enough, you can have him win the endurance races for you, and using the ×3 mode, you can win them a lot faster. So a lot of people use B-Spec mode. So I mean, he finished the race, but look how far behind he was. He was nearly a lap down. There's absolutely no way he can fix my problem. It's annoying because I put him on pole position, but you can see here now, look how far behind we are. We're 5 points adrift and we're only 9 points adrift, 9 points ahead of the Jag and the Audi. So it's actually still technically a four horse race for the championship. As I say, B-Spec Bob, that was not a conscious call. The only advantage is it sped it up. That's the only thing it did. It sped the race up. That's one thing it did do. However, that's still rather irritating. We're at Le Mans. Right. Okay. This is where we're not going to qualify, but we're going to exploit the hell out of those chicane cutting. We're going to chicane cut our way to bliss on this. And this time I'm in control. I deliberately didn't move my arrow cursor. Indeed, he did get some experience, Queen. I'll be curious at how many points he got for that, what his B-Spec points were. And yes, Joe, it is time to cheat, because they've been cheating me, to be fair. The amount of times they ran me off the circuit. So here we go. So the first part of the circuit, we're not going to be that competitive on, but that's okay. What we want to do is be at the point where we can draft them, going along Mulsanne. For those of you who don't know what Mulsanne is, it's the huge long straight. That was not intended. The Audi hit me. I had no way around him, so I went through the sand instead. That was not part of the design. I did not consciously choose to cut that chicane. It's actually not faster, I don't believe. Yeah, we need to brake a lot more than the computer does through Tetra Rouge. So here we go. And it's not the straight version. You can see the two chicanes. So this is our chance now to attack. Now the only other thing I didn't do here was I didn't change the gears or the downforce. So we should have a lower top speed. Should be in the keyword. So as they get on the brakes and dive there, we are going through the sand. Indeed, they were cheating all the time. You're not wrong, Joe. And this is why I want to attack. So it doesn't really matter if he gets ahead here. And now we'll let go of the accelerator to gain better traction through the sand. That's okay, because now he's going to give me a tow. That's okay. I don't mind that. Yeah. I suppose you could say it's a case of enter Sandman. Oh, what the hell? What the fuck just happened then? I must have had my rear tyres on the sand. I can't think of any other reason for that to happen. I must have hit the sand. I can't think of any other reason for that. Again, my fault. Nothing to do with the machine. Nothing to do with the comp. I need to beat a Nissan on this race. I need to. Oh, no you don't. Get out. Don't even think about punting me now. Don't even think about it. It's okay. We can still do this. A lot of it's going to come down to how much of a gap we have at the end when we go through Chevrolet and crucially through Ford. The Ford chicane is going to be the key part. If I can blitz those and gain a shitload of time on him, that's going to make all the difference. To be fair, that was a fantastic move. It's not going to gain in too much. It's not that big a deal, to be honest. Him being there at the moment is not a problem, especially if I go through especially if I can go through the Ford chicane. Oh hell, I can go through Chevrolet as well. It was faster, but then the car lost all grip. That's annoying, which is to be expected because you're going through sand. can't exactly expect to gain traction on sand, people, especially when you've got slick tyres on. Slick tyres on loose sand, it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. Let's be honest here, people. The sandbanks are designed to stop cars. They're designed to stop them dead. So driving through them is not likely to work unless you've got dirt tyres. Dirt tyres on the rest of this circuit would be awful. They'd be fine for there, but not anywhere else. If you're giving me a push, then that's not helping me. I don't need to be told to push. Right. Yeah, by getting off the gas, that's where you get better control, but I'm too far adrift, I think. That's that issue at Mulsanne hairpin, and then the sand at Ford have actually screwed my plan potentially. But let's see. It's still time yet. There's still time to potentially catch this up. If he wins here, the championship's over. That's the fact. I need to beat him. If he wins, it's over. There's nothing I can do. At least I think it's over. He's 5 points ahead of me. Yeah, it gained 6. It gained 4. But no. Ironically, the title would be possible for me to still win if he came last in the next race. That's not happening. There's no way in hell he's coming last. That's not happening. Not with me winning at the same time. No way. It would take the most bizarre AI issue in the world for that to happen. It's all going to come down to whether I'm close enough at the Ford and Chevrolet chicanes. And I don't think I'm going to quite do it. Don't think I am. But we shall see. That gap just looks too big to me. Yeah, it's just come up to the chicanes now. Unless I literally gain a fuck ton by flying through them. And there's the Jag as well, just to make things even more awkward. No, there we go, he's won. That's it, that's the championship over. He had 6 seconds on me, which again I think was Mulsanne in that final cut on the previous lap. That's what screwed it up. So that's down to me again. I would have won the race with those, but hey ho. So you can see there he's got a 6-point lead. No, he's got a 9-point lead. So unless he comes last place and I win, this championship's over. It's ending in disappointment, people. It's ending in bitter disappointment. See, we are in a car we are in a GT car up against Le Mans prototypes. So winning here is very, very unlikely. Extremely unlikely. And it's on the Nordschleife with 2 laps. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Yeah, there's no point even doing this race. There's absolutely no point with the tyres I've got. There's absolutely no way they'll last 2 laps. There's no way, and it would be a waste of time. So, B-Spec Bob, you can get some more random experience for me. Go on steady mode, and then I might as well give Bob a chance to get some experience. See if he can get anywhere near the guys at the front. Well, not at the front. He's not going to have hope of doing that. And they say we would have need to qualify as well, so that would have been another lap of this course. Or 2 laps. So it would have put us at like a half-hour race. Nah. Let's not bother with that. So here we are in telemetry mode. The secret weapon for anyone in the endurance races. Now what you can do with this kind of cool is you can actually max out. If you want to watch the race, yeah. I mean, it's slow. But we can put the race on if you really want to watch it. So I'm not sure if the graphics will hold up, but this is, like I said, this is in steady mode. I can put his pace up by putting him on fast. This means go attack. So you can actually see, this is like the replay mode in many ways. And it actually looks pretty damn nice, because during the day this was on the PlayStation 2. So if you got this game and put it into a PlayStation 2, you would see camera angles like this. This part of it was actually really well done. It's a shame that it didn't really... I don't know if they brought B-Spec mode back in any of the other any other entries in the series. But I'd have loved for it to be a spin-off where you actually were a team manager. And you had to actually buy drivers and buy cars and enter in certain regional events, you know, and actually try and... You start with literally a Sunday Cup team who are trying to win a local 3-race event in a Nissan Micra and earn enough money to be attacking tournaments like this in the World Championship. It'd be fantastic. But unfortunately, as far as I know, it never really went anywhere else, unless it came back in maybe GT6 or GT5 possibly. But yeah, you can tell it to... I've got it on overtake mode already. But you can see that he's clearly not catching up to the others. Like, if I put him on push mode, that's his fastest mode, where he'll just go all out attack. Now here, which is mostly a more straightaway way, this is a great chance for him to do it. So here we go. He's going side by side with his teammate. And in front for now. So that's kind of cool. So this is the part of the circuit where you then turn his pace back down a bit because it's more technical corners coming up. But you can see where the jagged lines are trying to force together as part of the emulation, and how it doesn't quite work the same. So it is kind of cool in that respect, but at the same time you do see the limitations of the technology, because again they're working with a PlayStation 2. So you can see that wonderful line there. I don't know if you saw it, where it was going across the circuit, almost drawing the circuit. And there he's attacking the carousel. But we're not going to get much further than 5th place here. I'd say the tyres, meanwhile, you can see how they're currently on green, 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 which is awesome. So he's not going to run out of tyres at least. I'd say we'll watch this lap and then I'll put it onto telemetry mode so we can speed through the 2nd lap, because otherwise it's going to take too long. It's interesting, actually, Queen. There was actually someone... I did see a thumbnail, but I didn't actually watch the video. Where someone asked, can you beat Gran Turismo 4 only using AI? So basically, you can only use B-Spec mode. You can't use A-Spec. Part of me thinks it'd actually be a pretty difficult race, because you'd have to really know how to level up your driver, B-Spec Bob. The reason I'm calling him B-Spec Bob, by the way, is that was the name that was given to him all those years ago in 2005 and 2006 on forums like Game FAQs and the Ring Diaries. We all knew him as B-Spec Bob. That's what we all called him. Well, we called it, because we don't know its gender. It's just an AI driver. For all I know, Sophia from Persona 5 Strikers could be in that car. So I imagine it'd be quite difficult to win that series with just the AI, because you can't qualify in B-Spec mode, so you'd always be starting at the back. So in any of the championship series like this one or the World Championship, you would be stuck at the back of the grid. You would not be able to start anywhere but last. Right, here we go. We're going on to our main straight, so let's go to push hard mode. Let's push, push, push. You can catch up to the BMW McLaren F1. You can do it, Bob. So that's a nice camera angle there. I don't know if you saw it, kind of like chasing around. Now, you're not wrong, actually, Queen. Yeah, if it was Sophia from Persona 5 Strikers, you would win every time. She'd be downloading the ultimate strategies from, like, you know, racing forums and setups and everything else. She'd do all the hard work for me. So the only problem with this mode is you can't hear the engines. It sounds like we're in, like, electric cars mode. And in terms of are we competing in the next race for Fiona, yes, we will be. I'm going to decide on what to do. I might do some driving missions as a way of ending the stream. So now we've sat through that, let's put it into speedrun mode. This is basically where the game is going at maximum speed. Once we get around this corner, we will then go to push hard mode and then knock him back. So back in the days of the PS2, if you wanted to do the 24-hour races, people did this all the time. They'd have literally a book or something, and then they'd literally be just going, like, reading a book, and then they'd be keeping an eye. And the moment he goes into the pits, they'd service the car and then put it back into telemetry mode and put it on ×3 and just keep on going. Nowadays, people would be, like, switching channels or using the second screen to watch Let's Plays. Kind of like those you can find on Queen 3210's channel. Go check them out, they're brilliant. And just do that while you're waiting for the pits to happen. Speaking of Let's Plays on your on Queen 3210's channel, finally put the final part of the letter, which I've yet to catch up on. I'm way behind on that series. I'm interested in how that's all going to end. It's all rather creepy. Not saying any more because I believe some people might be playing that game at the same time rather than watching it, and I don't want to be that guy who spoils things. Trust me, you don't want to be that guy. Yes, this is a championship that's kind of ended with a whimper, it must be said. Ends with a whimper. And indeed, Fiona, yes, 18 years ago. It makes me feel very, very old. It makes me feel all of my 40 years. Remembering that 2005 was 18 years ago. There was no YouTube. Yes, that's right. YouTube did not exist. I was there, Gandalf. I was there. 18 years ago. But check it out, he's just done the BMW McLaren F1 on the final lap, but can he keep the tyres to get to the end of the race? It's going to be tight. He's done it. He's crawled home a respectable 4th. That's a true, Queen. Yeah, it ends with a training race. That's not that ends with a training montage, I suppose. But yes, we've ended up still coming second in the championship, surprisingly. Despite that, the Jag almost beats us at the end. But a spate of 4th places. Well, the thing is, Queen, at the time, Google didn't own YouTube. They didn't acquire YouTube until something like 2011, I don't think. It was originally just like it was kind of like Facebook was. It was started by like tech students, and it just went from there. But yeah, Bob did fine. So let's see just how many points he got. If I go to the home page here, yeah, you can see I've got 9,028 spec points. He's got a measly 767. Not bad for 2 races. For only 2 races, that's very, very good, actually. That's actually very good indeed. Right, with that in mind, let's go to look at the driving missions. Oh yeah, Google is indeed older than YouTube. You're not wrong. Right, these are all clear. Ooh, what's this? Oh. Now for the 3rd round of slipstream battles. Oh. If I'm not mistaken, this race will be like the one we had in that tournament, but on steroids. If I remember correctly, this one is very hard. Because, right, can you see how far ahead the leader is? What we've got to do here is draft all the opposition and then let them immediately draft us. And we've got to keep doing that until we can catch up. So prepare for a very, very tedious race here, people. This is going to keep you occupied for a while. So you can see that basically we've joined a pack of cars. Rather than all being spread out, we are in a pack. And what we have to do is thread the needle. Oh, bash them out of the way, that works. No, Bob can't do these. Bob's not a Bob can't do the driving missions. But then ironically, I'm going to have to slow down to let them catch me up. Because I need them to draft me. No, I need you to draft me. Not smash me. Draft me. So this is the problem. You need them to draft ahead of you in order to get enough speed to draft. For those of you who wonder what I mean by drafting, it's what others call slipstreaming. And what I'm doing is I'm following the draft. So you see now, because those cars have all overtaken me, I'm up to 169 miles an hour, 171, and now I've finally changed gear. And now, once again, I'm going to have to get ahead and let them pick my draft up. Then get out of the way. I did not consent to being smashed. Well, it depends on whether you're in the pub or not. We all like being smashed in the pub, don't we, when we're all drunk? Says the guy who doesn't drink alcohol. Yes, I'm one of the easier con attendees. I'm not someone who gets wasted. Honestly, I have no idea if I'm closing the gap on this guy. This is a really annoying race. That's right, go by, okay. And now they pick up the draft again. And because they're all drafting at high speed, I've now got to close the gap on them. But we're not getting any closer to that yellow Nissan, it's too far away. And I'm actually not close enough to draft them. That's really frustrating. Oh wait, no, now I am. It's weird, there's times where I think I'm in the draft and I'm not. But the problem, as I said, the problem is they're just not picking up the pace. I need them to be keeping my pace realistically. You can see I'm now at 157. That's good. That's what I want. But I need them to keep on following me and passing me. That's what I really need. This is why I hate this mission. This mission is awful because you're reliant on the AI acting like racers and they just don't have it in them. They can't cope with it. No, don't hit me, don't hit me. Don't do that. Do not hit me. We're not going to catch him. We're going to have to do this again. Because once again, they're not passing me. I'm deliberately giving you a tow. Get past me. I'm trying to deliberately give you the opportunity to drive past me. Slipstream me and pass me. The only way we're going to catch that skyline in front is if you pass me and let me draft you. Pedal on the right. Come on. I had to crash then to be able to make them start moving past me. Guys, oh, for God's sake. Seriously, stop trying to spin me out. What is with this AI? Oh, now I've got a... No. Bollocks to that. Retry. I'm not getting a penalty because they spun me into the wall. I am not having that. Yeah, we're not succeeding at it, but this is the fail stream tonight, people. This is the fail stream. You tuned in tonight to watch gross disappointment, which is what you got. If you came to the stream wanting an FAQ on how to beat this game, haha, sucks to be you. You're in the wrong place. Because I know absolutely nothing, it would seem. Again, how's that my fault? He smashed into me. That makes it even worse. You know what I mean? The fact that they put penalties in this mode. They made a test where you deliberately have to use the other cars and let them draft you. And then when you try to let them draft you, they spin you into a wall and give you a penalty. This is where this game really shows its age. This has not aged well. This has not aged well at all. Because if I was in this skyline, I wouldn't have let the other skyline get that far ahead of them. I'd have drafted them. Happened again. Moment I follow another car, they smash me into a wall. I'm doing this one more time. If they do it again, I'm going to go on to another mission. Because this is clearly not quite working. There's something about this that's just not really balanced. The drivers are being a bit idiotic. Just a bit. Right, this time we're going to go left. I'm going to follow you. I am not going to your right. I refuse. In the words of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I refuse. Right. Now you got a chance. Yep, okay, that's fine. You guys should now have enough speed to go past me. So that I can get into the draft at a decent rate of pace. You're quite correct, the AI in this is a joke. You're not wrong, Joe. I could say you were joking. Ha 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 ha. Yep, see, there we go. Let's all smash the player. Stop it! Get off my Right, I'm not having that. I'm out of here. How are you supposed to use them to do the draft when all they'll do is pit you out? Oh, by the way, you try pitting one of them out. Won't work. Guarantee it. Guarantee it they don't work. Right, the one lap magic. Ah, okay. Right, okay. We start 35 seconds behind the lead car, I believe. So we do a quick... I'm going to do something that's kind of cheating here, but it's not cheating at the same time. See how we've got a big clock? Yeah, we're not waiting for that. We're not waiting for that clock. I'm not waiting for that. Absolutely no way am I waiting that long. See the difference? And now a quick save state. Which means we can just simply reload it. That's one thing the game did not do right on this. You have to watch the other cars, and if you fail, you have to restart. So that's why using an emulator and being able to do it that way is much, much better. The idea is to essentially go fast enough to catch the lead pack up. That's the idea anyway, but you can't... I don't think you can go off course. You certainly can't hit the opposition, you can't do that. But what you can do is just go flat out. And as you can see, these are all Nissan Fairladies because basically that's where the car came from. It came from the Datsun 280Y and onwards. Oh! He finished 3 seconds ahead of me on that one. But you can see there, no countdown. Ah yeah, that's the advantage of an emulator, people. There's one particularly nasty test of this kind, where you have to wait 2 minutes before you can start. So my technique there is a massive time skip. Because the idea with these is you catch up the impossible gap and overtake them right at the line. That's why it's called one lap magic. Would you believe these came back in Gran Turismo 7 and they didn't remove the timers? A game for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, and they couldn't think to remove waiting for your turn every time you make a minor mistake. Considering some of the cars you'll never even have a chance to drive because they're invitation only cars, it's a bit broken, shall we say. Ugh. That's the other problem with this. You get penalties. But we're going to try and do this. We're going for it. This time I'm going to brake super late. And even then I brake too soon. That's okay. Because at least I know now. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be doing me much good. That little spin out there has cost me critical time. Yeah, it's not technically crooked that, but we got away with it. Oh, of all the times. That probably would have been enough as well. But I now know what the lap time is. 1:52. So at least we've got a lap time to aim for. As in the lap time for them, rather than like, you know, our lap time. Our lap time's more like 1:20. Okay, that's good. I don't know if you noticed, by the way, in this mode, it actually shows us the split times. Why they work in this mode, I don't know. I've only just realised that. They actually tell us the split times. Why it works here and not in the main game is a mystery only science can explain. But no, science can't explain it even. Right, that extra second there has made a critical difference. It's made a colossal difference, actually. Yep, this is looking good. So long, pal. Oh yeah. And then I just got shunted as well. Just for good measure. We did it, we beat something. We've actually done something successful tonight, people. Can you believe it? So that's the first of the one lap magics. That's awesome. Now the question remains as to so the lead car is a Honda S500 and we'll use the JGTC NSX for 92nd handicap held at Suzuka. Oh god, this is going to be interesting. So once again we will cheat a little bit. It's technically not cheating, it's more saving time. I'm deliberately not doing it during the actual race here. So you can see, look at the time. So that's a lot faster. It's a ton quicker. Just to show you how slow it is out normally. This is the agonising wait we'd face. Screw that, not bothered. I say I'm not really cheating if all I'm doing is saving myself time. That's not cheating. And then a quick save state there so we don't have to watch it again. Because do you really want to listen to me pontificate for 90 seconds every time I either fail to complete the circuit or make a critical mistake? No, you don't. And before you say we listen to you pontificate all the time, that's different. At least here I'm doing something and not just sat with my phone on my arse. Oh, okay, right, we're definitely not supposed to be doing this, but screw it. I don't think that's going to have gained any time whatsoever. But I might as well see how much of a disadvantage that's caused. Bear in mind, they started 90 seconds ahead. Yeah, the engine on this car sounds horrible, doesn't it? You're not wrong on that one, Joe. It's good on the brakes, though, I'll give it that much. Well, I've just taken 40 seconds out of it on the first area. I don't know how much of that was saved by going through the chicane, though. I get the feeling not very much, to be honest. I don't think that would have been very fast. So there's the S2000. So where's the actual road-going NSX? We've got the NSX JGDC, but we've not got an actual road-going one. That seems weird to me. Why wouldn't we have a road going on NSX? We've got the Integra, we've got the Civic, we've got the S2000, but why not a regular road going NSX? And are we going to use the cheat? Yes, we are. Just a little bit of a cheat there. Just a little bit. That was not something that should have happened. That's definitely not how that should have gone down. Let's be honest here, people. That was just a tiny, weensy little bit of a cheat. The one that Mazda... Ah, so it's the 787B, a Laguna Seca. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, actually. That's like the Mazda 2004 signs all over Laguna Seca on this game. Right, so we got a 50-second difference this time. Let's speed up the game. We're in a Group C legend here, people. The legend of the Group C route, the Group C Le Mans. Winner in 1991 in the hands of, I think Johnny Herbert was one of the drivers for that, actually. It's a car that's been always pretty overpowered in Gran Turismo games, yet in real life, it actually wasn't that great. It had a very poor overall sports car series that year, but it was able to absolutely muller everything else at Le Mans because it just had enough in the tank in terms of rotary power and reliability. Everybody else was blowing up. If you ever want an interesting clip, by the way, there's a 5-minute montage someone made called 1994 Le Mans Was Different. And it's basically 5-minute highlights of all the crazy stuff that happened. And there's stuff that happens that would not be allowed today. I'll say that much for free. No, that's not the way to do it. And that somehow didn't get me a penalty. I don't know how, don't really care, to be honest. We're up to 5th place. Now we're passing the Mazda RX-7, one of the most legendary cars. Legend of the JDM drifting, as it was known. Japanese drifting machines. Along with the Nissan Silvia 240SX. And the, yeah. Oh! I guess that's revenge for all the times that you ran me up the backside. Hey, computer. That's what that is. Right. Quick F3. And then we can start again. I'd like to do a couple more of these if I can before I go off for the night. I am in the office tomorrow, so I will have to go to get some sleep soon. But I'm enjoying the challenge of the missions. No, that's it. This challenge is over. I think. I'll keep going, but I don't think we're going to win now. I'll be surprised if we do. Unless something truly miraculous happens. Thank you for the tow. Right, that's it. That's ended it. Getting a penalty here, it's impossible to catch them up. Once you get a penalty, just restart. Whether you use a save state like I've done or just hit the actual organic retry. Because you always, unless you're an absolute driving god who really knows the circuit in the car, you are always going to finish somewhere like 2 seconds at maximum ahead. So if you get a 5-second penalty, it doesn't take a genius to tell you that you're not going to win. I don't know if it's just me, but this car has horrible. It feels like it's got awful understeer. I don't know what tyres it's got on it, but it just feels understeery for some reason. It's supposed to be really amazing handle in this car, but I feel like I've not got the confidence to throw it into corners. In the middle of the corner, it's phenomenal. It has so much grip in the corner, but getting it into the corner in the first place is the problem. Getting it to turn in. It's like the game has been designed with understeer in mind. I'm like trying to find inventive ways to cure it. Understeer has always been a problem in racing games though, because it's like when you're using a controller and not a wheel, you simply don't have the rotation in the steering arm. Oh, it's so bloody slow. Let's try again before we finish for tonight. That's curious, we've not gone off the circuit and yet we're no closer, I don't think. Actually, no, maybe we are. Yeah, we might just be a little closer here, but not by much. Where's the road going, RX-7? Just at the top of the corkscrew. Oh god, that's not going to work. Right, plan B. Plan 787B. Oh, why did you park your car there? Bump draft me, bump draft me. This one's really hard. There's no grip, there's no giving the timer at all. And it doesn't help that the top 3 cars are so close together on a circuit which is almost impossible to pass on. I'm all for a challenging race, don't get me wrong, it's quite nice to have a challenge, but it just feels like they've got the window of opportunity very, very minimal here. Couple it with the, as I say, the rather understeery feel of the car. It just doesn't feel like it's got the power to get into the corner. But we do what we can with what we've got, I guess. There's not much more we can really say. Right, that's closer. Not getting held up by you. Not this time. Oh, what the... Oh, for God's sake. Lost it going into the corkscrew. And because I lost it going into the corkscrew, well, you weren't going to get it back anytime soon. That says the penalties as well. You don't need them in this mode. The missions are already tight enough as it is without, like, giving you penalties on top. We saw that with that Skyline one, didn't we? It was literally just a case of you have to let them draft you, but they'll crash you out if you try. It's like, well, how are you supposed to win that then? Like, you know, either the AI works properly or it doesn't work at all. Yeah, that's cheating, but if he's going to block the racing line, I'm not going to be held up. I refuse. Again, George's Bizarre Adventure, but I reviewed. Around the outside of the corkscrew, that's very fast indeed. Oh, it's done it again. It didn't brake in time. The car seemed to lock up its braking. I'm missing something about the way I'm driving this car. There's definitely something I'm doing wrong. And that's fine, you know. It's all well and good saying there's something you're doing wrong, but it'd be nice to have a hint as to what it is. And as I say there, I just don't feel the confidence to get the car turned in. The good thing is it's got quite a lot of power out of the corner. So if you can nail coming out of the corner, you can gain a lot of power back. Yeah, that was not great. That really wasn't good. Right, he's too far ahead to cut the car. Oh, once again, why did the car lose balance? It started sliding in the middle of the corner for no reason. This. I wasn't going to win it anyway. So it seems that the car loses grip for no reason in the middle of the corner and starts going sideways. It's not like the car starts to understeer or, you know, starts to lock up. It's like literally the car moves sideways like it's a forklift truck. And cars just don't work that way. They either spin or they slide at the rear end. You don't find them literally going sideways. Not unless you're in a Fast and Furious movie. Out of my way. Thank you. Yeah, you can't adjust anything about the cars here, Queen. You're not wrong. What in this mode, you get your car you're given is what you get. There's one particular mission later on where that's really bad. You are given a car with the worst loadout possible. It's part of the challenge. They give you a car which is almost impossible to control. But we've done it. I just had a feeling I might just have enough power to catch up. And we did. Fantastic. Managed to find a way around it. Pure perseverance. Always welcome. Perseverance, you will win. Yeah, that's what all the teachers tried telling me. It just didn't work. So that's the new Fuji Speedway. I don't want to race that one, really. No, but let's try it anyway. It's this Celica of the new version of Fuji. Ooh, but that might mean there might be a chicane I can cut. Yes. Yes. Potentially we can. Right, speed it up. Yeah, because it's the new Celica, there is actually a chicane I can cut. And that'll save us quite a bit of time. Yes, I know we're not supposed to do it, but guess what? I'm a dirty, rotten cheat, and I don't care. But this car won't be as quick. Yeah, it doesn't feel very fast at all. I don't know if this is meant to be a rally car or what, but it just does not feel very fast. Yeah, this is not what I expected at all. I won't say it's bad per se, but it's certainly not... It feels somewhat gutless compared to what we were driving before. You go from driving the 787B to this, you do notice. Ah, it's a GT500 car, is it? No, 300 even, sorry, Joe. That explains why it feels a bit more gutless then. If the car's more designed for the lower spec series. Right, now, I don't think... Yeah, they actually put the walls in here. So you can't cut the chicanes. We saw that one coming. Well, that's okay. At least now we know where everyone stands. It could have been worse. So I don't remember the JGT 300 actually. I'm guessing 300 horsepower that's for. It's certainly not going to be 300cc. Yeah, imagine that, a 300cc engine, yeah. Well, we've got a chance here. I think we're going to do this first time. And we're going to do it legit as well, people. Oh, well. Didn't think it'd be that easy. Wow. That was a joke. Ooh. Nasty. Wow, that was... Okay. I'm surprised at that one. I'm very surprised. That was far more lenient than the others. Way more lenient. Not that I'm complaining, but it's just interesting. I'm like, what the hell? That was easy. That was so lenient, it was unbelievable. And now, oh, it's the Corvettes. Oh, nice. And we're in the Corvette race car versus the historic C1. Nice. And it's at Infineon on the sports car course. Not really anywhere you can cheat here, so this is going to be purely a case of driving skill. And we're 44 seconds behind, apparently. Well, it's not true because we're starting 51 seconds behind, actually. Okay, so here we go. We're in the modern Vet, which does not sound like a Vet at all. Where's the snarling V8? Right, so they're 31 seconds ahead. So we caught quite a lot already, surprisingly. The question is, how much further can we catch up? Here at Sears Point in Sonoma, California. I get the feeling these are medium tyres at best. They don't quite have the one lap performance, which is really what you need here. It's one lap magic, so we should be on qualifying tyres. But we're not. Again, I don't think that's faster, but I was committed to the corner because of how far wide I was. There wasn't much I could really do. Once I got in that position, I was kind of screwed. So I just stuck it out and hope for the best. A little bit of Corvette drifting there. Not really the way you're supposed to drive a vet, but we'll take it. I don't think we're going to catch up in time, but it depends on how fast it is out of this corner. Yeah, we're just too slow. Just too slow. So we'll go again. We're way into overtime here, people, but that's okay. Save Mart Supermarkets. I thought supermarkets sold groceries rather than Save Mart. But then again, what do I know? Oh, no, we're off the circuit and we've got a penalty. Yeah, let's not bother with that, shall we? Yeah, it was close, but unfortunately not close enough, Queen. So we've got to try again. Or in the words of Total Distortion, try again. You are dead. For those of you who remember that game. And if you don't remember that game, you'll know that game over screen. The greatest game over screen of all time from Total Distortion. No, that was poor. It's hitting that inside curve. What prize? Oh yeah, we had the prize car. Well, to be honest, with this mode, I don't know, because we've won some really silly cars, haven't we? And I mean silly ones. Because we won the Jay Leno tank car. We've won the weird Toyota Triathlon one. So, knowing Kaz, it'll be a really big troll, like a 1901 car of some kind. Or a horse and car, you know what I mean? Knowing Kaz will be a complete troll that no one wants. But I'm prepared to be surprised. I'm sure there'll be something good hidden here, because these missions are too difficult for them not to be something good at the end of it. There has to be a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Or at least I hope there would be. Definitely faster because I'm catching in before this corner, so this is a good sign, because their lap times will be about the same each time, I reckon. I don't think they'll be quite radar-like to the point where they're absolutely perfect, but yeah, you can see he's a lot closer. But is he close enough? Let's pick up the draft and go for it. Here we go. Yes. By 0.3 of a second. Fantastic. That was tough, but it was kind of good. So that Mazda one was really hard. So let's log out of this race. And see what the next challenge is going to be. Oh, we've got a prize car now. Okay, what? Oh! Oh, wow! Now this, ironically, could be a car that might be good enough to try the All-Stars Championship again. It might be enough. That might be a car that could succeed. So, we've had an evening of crushing disappointment where we were unfortunately outclassed and we failed to become an all-star, having taken the challenge of trying to win it in a GT car. We're not letting it end that way. For the final stream of this week, before I go on a 3-week-long hiatus due to a certain trip somewhere in the world, not too significant, nothing I've been looking forward to, we're going to come back and we're going to try the All-Stars again, and maybe the power of Toyota will be enough. So will join me again on Wednesday evening at 8 PM BST for the final stream before we take a very long break. I've been Swishbone, you've been all awesome. Thank you all very, very much for watching. And stop recording. Ending me game.